And it looks like we're about to begin. Racebot counting down. And as soon as they reset their games, it's off. We're off. All right, so Galax managing to start off first. It's probably just due to Twitch stream delay. So our restreamer Mythical9 will be able to sync their streams ASAP. Here we see that Galax is playing on the American version. In a moment, we'll see if GothicLogic is doing the same. And the benefits of playing with the American version versus the Japanese version in this game, in this particular, as we can see, GothicLogic is playing with the Japanese version. In this particular category, in 70 star, the American version is actually faster than the Japanese version because of how the text boxes line up. There's a difference in the peach letter, but I can explain some more of that as we come to it. Right away, we can see the first trick of the game, Lucky to Skip, that Galax just performed and the GothicLogic is about to perform. It involves long jumping onto that banister on the bridge in order to skip the tutorial that Lucky2 gives you about how to work the camera. It only saves about 8 seconds, but in this kind of race, 8 seconds is a lot. We are also coming up to our second trick of the run, the bomb clip. Now, the way that you trigger this is by throwing and quickly re-grabbing the bomb as it explodes. That makes the hitbox grow larger, and that hitbox pushes Mario back. And thanks to that push and to the extra push of throwing the bomb, that bomb is going to push Mario through the gate in order to get the star. And unfortunately, it looks like Galax accidentally save and quit. Now that is not quite a problem here, since he actually managed to save beforehand. It does add, however, a little bit of time loss. As we can see, they're still there. It might look like they're timers. If you look at their timers, you will see that they're not quite synced up. That is because the Twitch streams are not quite synced. However, you can see that GothicLogic has a little bit of a head start. However, he does not manage to get the slide skip, so he will be going all the way down the slide. An interesting routing choice here. We see that both Galax and GothicLogic decided to go for what is called the Wumps 9. That means that they are going to get all of the stars in Wumps, but instead of getting the slide stars afterwards, they are getting the slide before getting Wumps. So by the time they come out of Wumps, they will have 9 starts in total. So that is a small routing choice that saves about a second. It's really not that much of a time save. Some people prefer to do Wumps first because it's a highly technical stage. Here we can see Galax attempting and failing to do a trick that GothicLogic is about to attempt as well. This is called a wall clip, and we see that GothicLogic manages to get it. The way that this trick works is that there is a star inside that wall that you are supposed to break the wall with the cannon. This trick is called cannonless because it allows you to clip through the wall and get the star without actually activating the cannon. This setup that you're seeing with the ledge grab, punch, ledge grab, and then running against the wall is actually rather consistent, but it seems that Galax is having a little trouble with it. We'll see if he manages to get it on his third try. And he does get it. As you can see, GothicLogic got it on his first try, and Galax managed to get it on the third one. It should not be. We are still very early in the race, so this is by no means something that's going to cost him the race, but it's definitely going to incur a little time loss. And now we see Galax going for another very complicated trick called Owlless. Usually in the normal game, you are meant to get on that cage by grabbing onto the owl and dropping off from the owl. However, if you triple jump and wall kick against the cage, you can save actually just 1 or 2 seconds versus, 6 seconds versus taking the owl. It's a small time save, but at high levels of play, it's these very many small time saves all along the run that end up bringing down your PB. All right, and we also see GothicLogic bundling as is usual in this routing the 100 coin star with the reds. It is very usual to do to bundle reds and the 100 coins. However, this is one of the very few stages in which it is time efficient to do 100 coins as opposed to just skipping it and doing a faster star. All right, and as we can see, both of them have already got their 9 stars, so they will be moving on from Womps into the next stage of the game. In this case, since they already did one of the slide stars, they will be doing the second slide star, and then move on to the Wind Cap and Bowser in the Dark World. And we see that GothicLogic manages to get the skip for the slide that he did not manage to get last time, so now he gets the under 22 second star on the slide. And as we see the both of them attempting the stars with the Wing Cap star, it's basically 8 red coins. there is a trick here that involves, it's called a jump, at least in some versions of, in some Mario games. Jumping on the Switch like that is called a jump. What that means is that you bounce off of the Switch without actually standing on the ground, so that the text boxes that explain what the Switch did don't actually trigger. And they are both coming into Bowser in the Dark World. This is definitely one of the harder stages in the entire run. It requires very, very precise movement. And the most interesting thing to mention about this Bowser in the Dark World stage is that there are certain cycles that you need to make in order to get that red coin number 6 that GothicLogic. The reason for that is that if that platform is not on there and you attempt to get the red coin, you will end up falling through and taking a death. You need to be extremely good and make the cycles very, very tight, make the movement very, very tight in order to be able to reach the red coin just as the platform is right under it. All right, and we see both of them getting the Bowser in the Dark World star. So now they are going to go back to Bob-omb's battlefield for one last star. Now that this star can be achieved because they have unlocked the wing cap. And after that, they will go right into CCM. And in CCM, there might be a small route divergence. Some runners decide to do 5 stars in CCM and get 18 by the end of CCM. Others decide to not do the penguin race and instead bundle the 100 coin star with a slide star, ending up on CCM with 17 and replacing that star with TikTok clock 100 coins. And yes, as the chat is saying, this race is indeed very close. Their PVs are about 5 minutes apart, but as mentioned earlier, that does not have that much of a bearing on how the race actually goes. Anything can happen, and so far this race is massively close. They are going with, at most, a 10-second difference between each other right now. And we see wall kicks will work, taking a much, much faster strat than the one suggested by the casual playthrough. Galaxy actually getting a shorter route even. And this trick that Gothic is doing right now is one of my favorite out of the entire run. That trick is very free. There is the possibility of hitting one of the walls and ending up falling into the pit, but usually you can just take the penguin, slide off of the wall, and just arrive right next to the mother and get your star. And here we see both of our runners collecting some coins and going all the way back up. It seems they are both bundling the 100 coin star with this slide star. So they will most probably be skipping the penguin star and instead do TikTok clock, 100 coin, or some other star later in the run. This is called, as I mentioned earlier, as CCM17, because they will be finishing Kukul Mountain with a total of 17 stars. And yes, as Maple Strip on the chat is pointing out, Gothic is on the Japanese version. On most categories, 16 star, for example, and 100 star, the Japanese version is faster. However, due to the way the text boxes are laid out, and despite the fact that in the Japanese version, Peach's letter is not read out, in this particular category, in 70 star, the American version is actually faster, but only by about a few seconds. But then again, at this level, it's those few seconds multiple times over the course of the run that end up lowering PBs.
And both runners seem to have gotten the 100 coin star at about the same time, so...
Hello. Everyone say hello to my co-commentator, Carl Azus.
Hi.
And just in case you just arrived, you are watching the Super Mario 64 70-star tournament. We are watching a race between Galaxy and GothicLogic. It is both of their first. It is for both of them their first race, so their standings are 0-0 so far. And here we see them getting the 2 stars in Big Boo's haunt.
Now one of the stars in BBH involves doing a puzzle that takes off a few 30 seconds maybe, and there is a way to skip that by jumping over to the star platform from another platform.
Mm-hmm. I see a question on the chat. What are their PBs? For GothicLogic, his PB is 49.45, and Galaxy's PB is 54.44. So they're actually basically exactly 5 minutes apart. However, as we can see by how close this race is, that does not necessarily have any bearing on how the race is going to turn out. We see that GothicLogic does have the lead right now, but only by about 20-30 seconds. It's very much not decided yet. And on GothicLogic's screen, we see another very, very complicated trick called Pillarless. Now, the reason why it's called this is because usually to get this star, what you need to do is stand on the 4 pillars that are on the stage, and that will blow up the top of the pyramid so that you can go into the hole that is in it. However, if you grab the bomb and do a clip similar to the bomb clip that we explained at the beginning of this run, you are able to just go through the top of that pyramid and get the star. We can see here that Galax tried to get it, but unfortunately didn't time his jumps correctly and ended up going into the sand pit. One of the most Galax attempting one of the most aesthetically pleasing starts just now, just triple jumping right into the star. That's always great when you see it happen. And we see that GothicLogic is already in the next stage, Lethal Leveland. Now this stage is almost infamous for its lava boost strat that we'll be seeing shortly when he attempts the first volcano star. Panda Speedy is pointing on in the chat. It is very, very true that it's not the end until Fat Bowser sings. Until everything can make you lose time in this race, especially the Bowser fights, especially Bowser throws. There's been many a PB, even for Chizo5, the world record holder, that have been spoiled by just missing a Bowser throw, or missing 2 or missing 3 Bowser throws, and having to redo them again. And we see GothicLogic making quick work of very, very complicated to deal with these enemies in a casual playthrough. They have a knockback and a recovery set up just so they can chain. It's basically a stun lock. They stun Mario and they keep chaining knockbacks. They are absolutely horrible to deal with. All right, and we see GothicLogic getting the big bully star. It is very dangerous to go for that star because right before you collect that star, those platforms that appear, it is possible to get stuck under the platforms, bouncing on the lava but not able to get over the platform and end up dying right in front of the star because the platform appeared where you didn't mean it. We see here GothicLogic doing a lava boost in order to get up to that elevator and not have to ride the first elevator up. And he gets his first volcano star. We will see if he does the second lava boost strat when he comes back to do the second volcano star. Now, this is a very impressive trick. Lava boosting up the cascade lets you skip most of that platforming, and we see him eschewing the poles completely and just doing a wall kick and going right up to the star. That's some very good movement. We see here Galax doing the exact same strat to get up to the platform, and instead using the pole in order to launch himself to the star. Now, HMC, one of the most infamous stages on the entire game. You may know this stage thanks to Pan & Cook's very famous video, Watch for Rolling Rocks in half an A-press. That's definitely one of our fandom memes. It is indeed, this is one of the most interesting stages, and dare I say, one of the most oft-hated ones. We see Galaxy taking an unfortunate death to that lava. Doing those lava boost strats is very, very risky. And as you can see, as soon as you hit the lava 3 times, you're just gone. And you get spit out of the painting and you have to redo it all over again. However, on his second try, he manages to get the star. And the Galax goes in and manages to get into HMC, trailing not very far behind Gothic. Oh yeah, as Speedy is asking on the chat, this is a very, very interesting property which some people don't know about. HMC does not have any ceilings. This whole stage does not have a single ceiling. The only thing it has is walls. So that is taken advantage of in multiple stars in order to jump over the walls and straight up go through places where you were supposed to navigate around. This is another very interesting trick. They double jump and then they kick the gate. and that allows them to hit the button without needing to be Metal Mario, which is the intended strat for the game when you're doing it casually. Now we have the Toad Star, one of the most technical stars of the game. You gotta avoid punching that Toad. For that button star that we saw earlier, there are other strats available. One of them is called a Christmas Miracle, in which you basically try to, on that jump that gets you over the wall, you attempt to just hit the button on your way down. It used to be called Christmas Miracle because people didn't know how to set it up properly, so they ended up not knowing whether it was going to come through or not. So it was a Christmas miracle when it happened. Here we see Galax going for that same box triple jump again. And GothicLogic going into Dire Dire Da. This stage is very, very technical, and here's why. There are two major sources of lag in this stage. One of them is this whirlpool right in the middle, and in the other room there is the Bowser's sub. Both of those take a ton of processing time to render, and you can see that GothicLogic is in Mario cam right now. The camera is as close to Mario as he can get it, so that he is not looking at the whirlpool, so that it is not rendered for as long as he can. And that means that there is going to be less lag, and he will be able to get through it faster. I see White Crimson asking for their PBs. GothicLogic's PB is 49.45, and Galaxy's PB is 54.44. So they are about 5 minutes from each other. Oh, I see Childlonk telling me it's 53.47 for Galax. It seems he must have taken it down since he last updated his panel on his Twitch. So that's good. Much better for him. And GothicLogic gets the Bowser sub star, which will push the DDD panel back and allow him to go into Bowser in the Fire Sea. However, he is going to go past that and get the Manta Ray star first. And he is going to be joined in DDD very shortly by Galax, who is just now talking to the Toad. Now, those rings that the Manta Ray gives out have very, very finicky hitboxes, and it is very possible to go right through the middle and for the ring not to register that you went through it. It has happened in multiple races just on this tournament that people go through the ring and it doesn't register, and they have to go through 5 more rings in order to keep going. And here we see GothicLogic doing some amazing movement in order to get the 8 red coins in Bowser in the Fire Sea. This stage is also very technical, and it also relies a lot on cycles. If you look at that elevator at the back, that thing with blue platforms and yellow ramps, that thing goes up and down, and if you are not fast enough, you do not make it for it. You do not make your way to it before it is up on the first cycle. So you have to wait for it to go all the way down and all the way back up. Most of the Bowser stages, if not all of them, rely a lot on these very, very tight cycles that you have to just blow through all of your movement in order to get to it and make the cycle before the platform slides out under you. GothicLogic having a little trouble collecting his star, and Galax getting his sub-star. He's only a Manta Ray star. And as we watch GothicLogic wreck Bowser for the second time this run, let me remind you that if you are liking this run, if you are liking these runners, go ahead, give them a follow. They are working very hard in order to give us some good entertainment. They are being very brave in allowing us to restream them in front of a much bigger audience that they're used to. So go ahead, give them a follow. I'm sure you will enjoy their content if you're enjoying this. And with that, we see GothicLogic finishing up Bowser in the Fire Sea. He is going to go right back into it and save and quit in order to warp back to the lobby and be able to go right upstairs. And we see him going right into WDW. Or there's a very interesting thing about this painting that is not shared with any of the other paintings on the whole castle. Depending on the height that you enter the painting at, the water level will be higher or lower. So as you can see, he ended up entering the painting as low as he could. So the water level is at its lowest. For the last star that they will be doing in Wet Dry World, he will enter the painting as high as possible in order to keep the water level high, and that would allow him to go into a certain tunnel that and get access to the next star much faster. Galax gets his 8 red coins from Bowser in the Fire Sea, and GothicLogic is on his way to get the 100 coin star from Wet Dry World. As I mentioned before, one of the very few 100 coin stars that we do in this mode, because usually 100 coin stars, since they involve collecting 100 coins, they are very costly in terms of time to get. As you can see, the standard strategy for this is to bundle it with the 5 secrets star. And we see Galax going. Oh, Galax there having a little bit of a. He did not manage to get that last blue coin, which is worth 5 coins. So he will have to make up for that difference by getting. See how he routes this on the way.
Many of the 100 coin stars are very hard to route because you have to make sure that both stars spawn nearby so that you can get both of them very quickly.
That's correct. I've also seen not a non-trivial amount of runners accidentally getting the second star, the actual course star, before they manage to reach the 100 coin star, which spits them out of the world, and they have to redo the 100 coin star. That is very much a time loss. Here we see something else that you might not have realized when you were playing casually. There is a teleport right there that allows you to get the Shocking Arrow Lift star immediately, as opposed to having to navigate the entire course. And Galax gets that last coin by getting that backup box and manages to get his 100 coin star as GothicLogic goes right into Tiny Huge. Tiny Huge Island is very heavy with very precise movement, not as precise as some of the later stages such as TikTok Clock or any of the Bowser stages. However, it does require some knowledge of how to move Mario around in order to get, for example, the five secret star. It is. I have to say, it is amazing to see this kind of level of runners getting the 5 secret star, clipping right through the mountain right there, upward into the water and get the 5th secret. Now, something not very well known about this island that the star spawns on, that closer right-hand corner is actually a warp back to where the piranha plants are. So if you accidentally ledge grab on that corner, you have to only flick the control stick in order to slowly come up onto the island instead of hitting A to get up faster. Otherwise, you will be warped back to where the piranha plants are and will be forced to attempt the jump again. And we see Galax managing to get into Tiny Huge Island, getting a little enemies, but managing to get his 2nd secret and move on. Here we have the 2nd Toad Star, and after getting this Toad Star, GothicLogic will be going up to one of the most technically demanding stages of the run, Tall Mountain. Oh my god, the movement in this stage is ridiculous. And here we see GothicLogic going for this one is breezeless. The usual strat for this is to go off the edge that you saw over there, the pointed edge, and allowing the breeze to carry you up and up to the platform above it, and then jump off of the platform and backwards kick in order to get to that niche in which the star is. However, he triple jumped and then butt pounded in order to get that star without having to do that. We also see him triple wall kicking here and moving back after the wall kick in order to collect that star without having to waste time by going all the way up and then slide kicking to the star, which is usually how that star is achieved. Ground pounded. Oh, it's called different things in different Mario. Try seeing Mario Party 1. It calls it something completely different. Some people in the chat were calling me out for saying butt pounded. I mean, it's not that complicated. Not that far off, is it? And oof, we see GothicLogic attempting that strat, which is always very interesting to see. However, he does not manage to get it, and he decides to change the star he's going for. Instead, he's going to go for 8 red coin star. This star is also very, very complicated to, very lag heavy. This section that you see with all of the leaves and the gophers has a lot of lag and has a lot of things that slow down the rendering. And unfortunately, we see one of our runners here. Press F to pay respects. And GothicLogic's stream, as we can see, blipped out for a second, but now he is back. And let's see if he comes back. Yep, he is back and playing on Snowman's Land. It's rather unfortunate for your stream to give out in the middle of a race. We had a race recently where one of our runners, his PC crashed in the middle of the race, and unfortunately he had to forfeit. We see Galaxy also doing a very interesting clip that not many people know about. If you jump at the beginning of Tall Mountain, right against the wall, you will clip through the wall. There is some water rendered there, and that water will warp you up to that pool of water at the top of the cascade that is higher up in the course. GothicLogic doing some beautiful movement to get that snowman's head star. And here we see GothicLogic getting his shell and getting the reds by going over the geometry of the course in a way that the developers definitely. You will see a lot more of that through the entire run. And here we see Galaxy doing that strat that GothicLogic did not do, using the breeze in order to get him to that ledge, and then jumping down from the ledge and getting into the niche by kicking. And Galaxy joins GothicLogic in Snowman's. I mean, those comments are not meant as comparisons on their level. They are just interesting things about the routing choices they decide to do. Breezeless actually only saves about a second, so it's not all that much of a difference. However, as I mentioned before, it is those 1 second, 2 second strats multiple times over the course of the run that end up saving time. And GothicLogic manages to get his last upstairs star, and he goes right into what we call Tippy. called so for being the tippy top of the castle. He will be getting his Rainbow Ride stars here, and then get the Toad Star and all 7 TikTok Clock stars in order to get his, in order to get the last stars he needs to finish the game. And he enters a stage that is affectionately, quote-unquote, called Reset Ride. Rainbow Ride is a very, very technical stage with a lot of... It's hovering in the air. I think this much is obvious. So if you miss a jump, or if you miss time something, you just fall off, are spit out of the stage, and need to redo it again. We also see Galax doing the same strat as GothicLogic earlier, just diving into the ice in order to finish him off right away. GothicLogic having a little bit of trouble collecting that 5th red coin. He does manage to get it and collects star. And we see Galax also going up to Tippy. Here we see that Galax has 58 stars, same as GothicLogic when going up to... If you follow the normal route, you would have 59 stars while going up to Tippy. However, because they did not do the Penguin Star in CCM, doing the strat usually called CCM17, they will instead be doing TikTok Clock 100 coins, which really only saves time if you can manage to do the 100 coin star in about a minute 10, a minute 5. So it is usually the higher level runners that go for that strategy. Yes, Ryukas, they both did toxic in... Oh no, sorry, scratch what I just said. Yes, they both did Toxic Maze. Well, they did skip another star along the run that they did replace with Toxic Maze. Galaxy's PB is high 53, I think was explained in the chat earlier. GothicLogic's is 49.45. Yep, 53.47 for Galax. And TikTok Clock, the stage that GothicLogic is definitely one of the most the entire. It requires very tight movement, and as soon as you fall off into the middle, it spits you out. It's not a fun time. However, this turns out to be one of some runners absolutely love this stage, because once you manage to get the movement down and all of the wall kicks and triple jumps, it feels really good to... It's very nice movement once you manage to get it down. We see GothicLogic doing a wall kick strat in order to not... before the thwomp goes up to allow you to collect the star. To respond to Ryocast on the chat, as you can see right now, GothicLogic is going into the clock without stopping time. He is going to attempt some of these stars without actually stopping time, and that makes the movement a lot more demanding. but it allows you to not have to wait until the clock points up to o'clock, which is before entering it. For those who don't know, the way that you enter the clock, the time at which you enter the clock, defines whether it's going to be moving or not. If the minute hand is pointing at the 12, so at o'clock, the stuff in the stage is not going to be moving, and it is in general easier. And we see him ground pounding accidentally instead of long jumping and taking a death, unfortunately. As it is mentioned in the chat, this stage is also ridden with invisible walls. Invisible walls are literally just that, are walls that are invisible that you can't see, and that can heck you in the middle of a jump and throw you right into the pit. It is not a fun time. This stage is one of the most ridden with invisible walls because of how much geometry it has. Another stage that has a lot of invisible walls is TTM, Total Mountain. And we see both of our runners making very quick off the stars in TTC. And this is the last star that GothicLogic is attempting, because that is going to put him at 69 stars, and that allows him to go right up to get his 70th star and go up to Bowser in the sky to defeat the final Bowser. Oh no, my apologies. He already collected the Toad star. They both already did.
And with that, GothicLogic will be moving up into the final Bowser level as he collects the 70th star.
That is correct. Now, let me remind you, even though GothicLogic quite a bit earlier than Galax, this is not over yet. Many runs have had upsets at the very end due to Bowser throws at the very end of the run. So everything can still happen. They are still very close.
Additionally, Bowser in the Sky is a very tedious stage and has many slopes and moving parts.
And GothicLogic making very quick work of that Bowser in the Sky stage. Attempting throws already. This stage is especially complicated in the way that it takes out chunks of the stage every time you fail one of the Bowser throws and throw him off. We see him managing to get one of the throws. The second throw, and he manages to get the third throw and claims the star. And as soon as he collects it, we will have a time And GothicLogic manages to get his first place with an official SRL time of 54 minutes and 43 seconds. Congratulations, get your GGs in the chat. And of course, let's watch Galax go into the final Bowser stage and collect his final star. And we are going to see if GothicLogic is able to join us for an interview while we watch Galax finishing off the last Bowser stage. And while we wait for that, let me remind you, go ahead, if you liked this, follow these runners. They work very, very hard to get better at the game and to offer you this amazing entertainment. So go ahead, if you like them, you will definitely enjoy the content they put out. And might I add, follow as well our speed gaming channels. We have Speed Gaming 2, 3, and 4, and you will be able to get basically any game you can think of out of those channels. We see Galax managing to get perfect throws, managing to wreck Bowser one time after another, and he is about to finish his race. And he finishes with an official SRL time of 56 minutes, 55 seconds. Get your GGs in the chat, everyone. And we have here GothicLogic for an interview. GG.
Hello.
Hey there, GG. How do you feel?
Kind of relieved that I won, but
I can understand that. How do you feel about your time? It seems that we are having slight issues. Gothic, can you hear us?
yeah, why is this kind of like lagging out?
All right. GG either way. How do you feel about the time that you finished?
And that I think it was really bad, and I could do better, but I haven't played in a while, so that over, not 7-1.
I see that this time that you got is about 5 minutes later than your PB actually. So, but that's because you have a very, very optimized PB. It's not very many people that have under a sub 50 PB.
I have no idea what you're saying.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I was just commenting on the fact that you have a PB even 5 minutes that is even 5 minutes below the time that you got, and we also have Galax here in the room. GG Galax.
Yeah, thanks. That was I was so nervous at the beginning, so yeah, I lost so much time, and I forgot to put off the my cheat code on my emu, so I have to restart my emu too.
Yeah, that's what we saw at the beginning of the race. You
Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. It's unfortunate that you ended up not getting this race. However, it is the first race for both of you guys, so there's definitely a lot of opportunities for both of you to make this up and stay in the tournament.
Yeah. So I
No.
didn't understand at all. Sorry.
I was just saying that since it is your first race in the tournament so far, and we are
Yeah.
still at the group stages, you still have the opportunity to get a few wins and
Oh,
manage to
yes.
stay on the tournament. Here's a question for both of you guys. What would you say were your highest points in the run?
I think my TTC 100 after I died. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'd say my basement was decent. Yeah, apart from DDD.
Yeah, unfortunately, DDD did not go as well. DDD is a very complicated stage. I always get stressed out whenever I see someone starting it. All right, so do you guys have any last words to give our viewers before we move on with the next race?
Thanks, GothicLogic, and see you. Yeah.
And Gothic, do you have anything to say?
I'll do better next time.
I'm sure you will. I have no doubt that you'll manage to get at least one win. All right, and with that, we are ending this race. Make sure to follow the runners. Make sure to follow the Speed Gaming channels. We are getting the runners' channels on the chat right now, so that you can follow them. If you are not yet done with your Super Mario 64 goodness, we have another race coming up on Speed Gaming 4 right now. It is, if I am not mistaken, Valandil 211 versus Xenoblade 11. Yep, that seems about right. And for our other Speed Gaming channels, on Speed Gaming 1, you are definitely still on time to the Link to the Past randomizer daily race. They have been doing open mode races, they have been doing standard, they have been doing sortless seeds. They are in the middle of one of those races right now, so Speed Gaming 1 is where you want to be. If you're interested in Mega Man, there is a Mega Man 1 race right now going on Speed Gaming 1. I apologize, the Link to the Past randomizer daily is on Speed Gaming 2. And on Speed Gaming 3, we have our Mega Man X any percent tournament. So with that, Carl, do you have any last words?
I'd just like to say great job to both runners. You both did a great job, and look.
Thanks.
Indeed.
Thanks.
All right. In that case, my name is Ashiaria. This is Speed Gaming 4, and this has been the race between Gothic and Galaxymm for the Super Mario 64 70-star tournament. I hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time. Good luck. Have fun.